Boom, boom. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what drew our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what drew our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what drew our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what drew our people started dropping it. Dirty Moors still attempt to infiltrate the order. Active Moors are truth and take it to the corners. Across highways, past hedges and through borders. Move on dirty Moors like broken down waters. Watch out for agents and provocateurs trying to get next to the heads with the doctor's cures. They never pay dues and don't pay dues, contradicting with King Alfred to give clues like news. Noble Drew Ali died from Palemore blues. Prophet saved him his money before the claw fell through, and that's true. Even though I don't have proof, still memory tells me don't fall for spooks. Drop mental nuke, hanging from their own vine from the fig tree, looking up at them like Daisy. No white flag or mercy for you fags. 5 point and pentagram is on our flag. Green, but not for cream. That dirty Moors took to throw off the balance of the grand treasury books. Getting offers like high school ballers. Those that infiltrate are not Moors but robbers. Robbing the people blind, deaf, dumb and crippled. They can't tear this up, not one drop or trickle. No matter how hard they try to perpetrate the fraud, dirty Moors always fall on their sword. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what drew our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what drew our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what drew our people started dropping it.
Islam and greetings, Moors. Welcome back to another episode of Pardon the Interjection. I am your host, Supreme L, and I want to give high honors to my prophet, your prophet, our prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and all the active Moors and non-active Moors. So you better get active, because the time to get active is late already. So the best bet for you is to get with an active Moor and get active. Here on Pardon the Interjection, we dig up information to divulge to the people in the upliftment of fallen humanity. And it's been a long fall, but I can guarantee you, people in the Moors are waking up in more than just packs, in hordes. They're waking up like never before. As I always say, it's a beautiful time to be alive, Moors, because this is when a lot of things will come to light, especially being a Moor. Now, we have a special guest coming on the show today, and it's been a minute since my brother has been on, but trust me, it's always good when he do come on. He's a brother that has a pack full of knowledge, so I want to go ahead and get into it, like right now. So just bear with me, and we're going to get my good brother on the line here, and we're going to have an interesting show.
Peace and love, Brother Supreme.
Islam family. On the line, we have my good brother, your good brother, Miz. What's going on, Mizraim Aleph? What's going on, my good brother?
All is well, bro. Nothing but you and the fam, bro.
Beautiful. And welcome once again to Pardon the Interjection. It's always beautiful to have you, my good brother.
Indeed. I know it was time. When you hit me up and sent me that. It sent me. I'm like, oh yeah, we got to do another one.
Indeed, more. So, how is it on that front, on the home front? How's it be?
All is well, bro.
Good.
Definitely well.
Good. Okay, good. And the family?
Everybody's well, bro.
Good. Well, it's the form of the people, and this Pardon the Interjection is the platform of the people. So, let's go ahead and get on to it. What would you like to get into? You have anything you want to first say and throw out there before I get the question and give you some questions?
I'm thankful to be here as usual. I'll just say, let's just preface it with this, right? It's funny because I was working on a particular project and I sent you a picture from it.
Indeed.
And I'll be on here anyway. But you sent me a picture of the convention.
Yes.
Right, convention, and you was like, it's crazy. I know to anybody else it would sound crazy, but I knew exactly what you were saying when you said it. You was like, yo, Moore, I was looking at the picture from the convention, and I saw your mom in it. I'm like,
indeed.
Yeah. And the reason I knew what you meant, because, obviously it's a different time frame, but what you meant when you said it, I'm like, oh, you've seen somebody that looks like her, right? And I sent you the picture of me analyzing a pretty similar situation. What's your thoughts on that? Because it was like right in sync with where my mind was at. Like, damn, our ancestors, really show up down the line. For sure.
Indeed. And my thoughts on that was, wow, bro. Like, wow, because I mean that's a really interesting picture you sent, bro. And I'm like, wow. And the comparisons, like the comparisons, bro. Like you can't deny it. You know what I mean? You just can't deny it, bro. A lot of our ancestors are truly coming back to put in work. You know what I'm saying? Like it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? It goes with what the prophet was saying. More like those who was with him then is with him now. More.
Facts. Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did accept that. You know what I'm saying? With no criticism. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because I was being straight with you. Like, bro, like I can't imagine like I wonder why no one else could see that. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody else saw that. Like nobody else could see that. And it's just amazing, bro. Like everything is coming full circle. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, I just like I always say, it's a beautiful time to be alive, more because a lot of things are coming forward.
Indeed.
And
absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree anymore, bro. I couldn't agree anymore. So you could, however you want to do it, you can ask your questions, or we could go in all the way.
Okay, well let me start off by saying this with that picture, because I'm going to be putting it up. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it now, but I will be putting it up once I upload it. And let's talk about that picture. Can you tell me who that is and what is the picture?
Okay, well, all right. I'm gonna put it like this. I'm not being stingy. I'm not gonna give too much away, but I'll put it in this context because it's actually from a video that I will be putting out.
Okay.
Very, very, very soon. But I had to send it to you because I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So brother's appellation is Ishmael Titus. Ishmael Titus, who was essential, right? It's crazy when you see the video, because a lot of people think that all of our people were slaves, and that's not true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even in time before, there was free Moors.
Right.
And Ishmael, come on, it doesn't get any more obvious than that.
Indeed.
Right? So I'm like, okay, and that was, and I give all credit really to my cousin, because she caught that. Like, we walked, that's actually embedded in the ground. So, like, we were walking, and we walked past it. She was like, hold up, Miz, look at this. You know what I'm saying? And it was an interesting read. This was a man who was fighting in the Battle of Kings Mountain and all of these things. And he was a Moor. Now, on the plaque, just to put the disclaimer out there for Moors, like, I know I'm a Moor, I know I'm American, I know, Negro, black, colored, African American are non-begirs or brand names, but for the mission and the journey, that I've been embarking on, it's like, I see out in the world, they might not refer to us as that in some of these things, so I don't want it to ever be confused. Like, I'm saying we're African American, I'm just reporting the facts of what's really boggles me that a lot of people like are not reporting on this, and it's like open history.
Right.
I'm just from my travels in the past since 2015. You know, I'm just seeing the world a little different. Like, because I'm seeing like even I put a clip up a couple weeks ago about being down in Shako Bottom, and it was the imagery of like a Moor being trampled on. And I'm like, yo, all of this imagery of Moors out here in the world, you know, I mean, I'm not knocking all the other places, but you know how they show Moors, particularly like out in Europe and things like that,
Right.
in the coats of arms.
Right.
Like, it's a lot of that right here in America, you know what I mean? Right here in America, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm just realizing that, you know, even a couple months ago when, what was it, the Princess of Kent, when she wore the Moor's brooch,
Right.
and then everybody was like, oh, she's racist. So, the foolishness, right?
Right.
And I'm like, but what about these signs they telling you, you know, this particular part of North America is now Belle of London, and they trampling, and it's a Moor being trampled. Nobody's calling that out. They are not going to say racist. That's not worthy news of some weird stuff going on.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, you know, when you put it in perspective, like, you know, the way that people, like, they report so-called news and all of that, they're not really telling our story, you know. And then you have those of us who, you know, put on the regalia and still are not telling our story.
Right.
So that's just an attestation that I'm definitely turning up. Like, I definitely have content I want to release and will be releasing. So but I think as far as that picture goes, it's interesting the longevity that the brother had, because he lived to 110 years old. You know, so that, you know, that's a credible time to live. You know,
Right.
a century of time.
Right.
That's pretty interesting, and he's undisputably a Moor. You know, so that's just one, Supreme. Like, it's a lot more, you know, within the video. I didn't send you all the pictures, but, you know, that's really where it is.
Wow.
So, you know, yeah, Moor, for certain.
Wow. That's beautiful, bro. That's beautiful, and I can't wait until the video comes out, because I'm definitely gonna definitely peep that more. And you know, that brings us to, you know, another one of our questions. What do you think about you know, the Moors that's on the knowledge? Because I know everybody know now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know about Moors now, more than ever now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's out there. And what do you say about the brothers and sisters that are like still naysayers, and still like going back to the brooch? You know, because me personally, I know that they were showing honor. The Princess of Kent was showing honor with that brooch. Because I say, it takes me back to saying, if she was trying to be disrespectful and any of that type of nature, she probably would have had Ancient Mama on that brooch, bending over,
Right.
trying to pick cotton or something. You know what I'm saying? But no, she was actually giving Moors honor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what, Supreme? I don't know, man. I might be I don't know, this might be a bad thing, but honestly, like, as far as what I think about the naysayers, like, I really don't think about them at all, bro.
Cool.
That's the truth.
Cool.
You know, like, I hear it, but, you know, I put it into the work. You
Right.
feel me?
Right.
So, yeah, you know, like, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
that's the truth. Because, you know, I'm like, okay, I see that they're intentionally misleading people this way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let me hit them with these facts, you know what I mean? So they could put the contrast, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and my thing is, you know, it ain't even on no debate stuff, because truth is not debatable, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, because you holler, that doesn't make you right and exact, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, you know, it's like, what it is, you know?
Right. So that's going to bring us to another question. What do you think about the celebrities that's that's putting it out there, but not coming fully out. But putting it out there like Andre 3000 with the fez, and Cam Newton wearing the fez. What do you think about the celebrities showing partial honor?
I think it's kind of cool, bro. I don't mean cool like in the fashion sense, like they got the latest Jordans on.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, they putting it on. I can't, it'd be good if they just came out and said what it is, what time it is, but at the same time, I guess they're not there to teach like that. A lot of the things they do is really caught up on imagery.
Right.
So, I'm not knocking them for wearing the fez or anything. I could understand that, but at the same time, it's like, that's a crown. It is worthy of a proper explanation.
Right.
Like a fashion statement. Also, I would say, just because somebody puts on the fez doesn't mean that they're honorable, and it doesn't mean they're dishonorable. So I've seen a lot of non-celebrities with the fez on, and I'd be like, yo, if I saw you in real life, I would just take it off your head. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're supposed to know better. Once you proclaim, you feel me? You're supposed to know better. But, I think it was a good signal to the world. You know what I'm saying? As far as, Cam wearing it, Andre 3000. Shit, you could look back. Even Cujo had some pictures with Pac had the fez on.
Right.
Right,
that's right.
It's like, and even before that, Cole from Martin was wearing the fez in the intro of the show.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, they've been like signaling for a while. It's like, I think more so now people are recognizing it when they see it. You feel me? It's like they've been on that. I can't say on it. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot more of them who know that. That just I don't know. I guess they got their own way of putting the story out how they see it. I don't know. I can't really speak for them, but I think it's cool.
Right.
I really like it. People that have large platforms like that and can make a statement. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's always when they do that. Because it brings attention to certain issues.
Right.
Or like even when Beyonce had the fez in her video, I'm like, oh, okay. That was a message there too. I think it's dope. So I mean, it ain't like because she had a brother with the fez on the video, ain't nobody like, oh, Beyonce should be teaching. She's doing. You know what I'm saying? So when people do certain things, you gotta respect them for what they do, what they did, and why they did it. Like, because for some of our people, it's never enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, Colin Kaepernick could take a knee, right, and nobody's kneeling with him. But then, the next year, everybody's kneeling. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, sometimes the cause gets lost of why, it was started.
Right.
So, but at the same time, though, with him taking a knee and bringing this, subject, making it a national topic, right? When he made it a national topic, international topic, it was still some people who was like, oh, but he's just taking a knee. He's not doing nothing. Never mind, you know what I'm saying? It's a billion people talking about this now. You know what I'm saying? It's a conversation for real now.
Right.
So, like, no matter what, certain people are not going to be satisfied when they're using their measuring stick based on what somebody else is doing or didn't do or did do. You feel me? It's like, it's I don't know, man. People are never going to see it as enough.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree on that. People never get enough. You know what I'm saying? They never see it as enough. When they're just throwing a calling card out there, you know what I'm saying? And I know they can only do so much because of their dealings. How should I say? I know they have a lot I guess they don't want to lose. I guess at that because they feel like they can lose something, but they'll only be gaining really. But I can see where they may feel they have some things to lose. But that'll take us into the next question, and it's a lot going on, especially with this internet thing, and a lot of people are getting up on the information, and they're putting certain information out there, but they're also mixing the information to be disinformation. Now, how does one differentiate, or how would you point a person in the direction to find what's truth and what is not?
It would depend on what subject you're talking about, because there's a lot of falsehood out there,
Right.
As far as Moor's nationality,
Yes.
like people not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's out, man. Look, first off, I couldn't say, overlook like RV Bay Publications.
Exactly. That's right. Yes.
Talking about, you know what I'm saying? It's there. I know, with, like you said, with the whole internet thing, there's a lot of ways to get the information out.
Mm-hmm.
So, this would be depending on the topic. I think, and even to myself or anybody else, it's like it is our responsibility to make sure that, okay, we keep a pulse, we don't get bothered, but make sure we put the truth out.
Right.
To counter, you know what I'm saying, the misinformation. Because some people not gonna believe it, bro. And it hurts because in certain aspects, like when these people have actual positions in society, you know what I'm saying? Like you go in to file some, let's say you had a situation and you go in to file some paperwork, you know what I'm saying? And you got your seals on there, and the clerk at the window is one of ours. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're Moor, but totally gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, they will defend the European tooth and nail, bro. Like, I'm not taking this, you know what I'm saying? We're going to send it in Islam to gear because, this is what the Europeans said. And it's like, when that happens and you're like, oh shit, it really is like operative people in these institutions that are working against us.
Right.
Like, in our own. Like, they're literally at the clerk's window playing games for these Europeans, you feel me?
Right.
So, you got them, and then you got those who they put out in the public, you know what I'm saying, who basically have the same exact agenda as the Europeans.
Right.
So, it's like, that existed. I think we got hit in the aspect with the butterfly effect because, this happened in the 60s, you know what I'm saying, where they started, smearing people and that's how they do. I mean, like I said before, man, like George Bush blamed Saddam Hussein for killing all the Mandelas, and Mandela wasn't even dead, you feel me?
Right.
So it's like, he could say that if nobody knows nothing, they're just going to believe that. You feel me? Meanwhile, it's the most boldest space lie ever.
Right.
So what can you, except for just tell the truth, you feel me? Like, nah, Mandela wasn't even dead. You know what I mean?
Right.
But just because people are in these positions, people take their word on face value. So my whole thing is to, study,
Mm-hmm. Right.
get Moor's literature, Prophet Noble Drew Ali's work. Look at some of the Gnostic texts, read the history books, because, there people, people just got caught up in the whole institutionalized aspect. And I don't mean like they had to be locked up. It's like this whole concept of, if you're not in the Moor Science Temple of America, then you're not a real Moor. Or if, you don't go to my church on Sunday, you're not a Christian like me. And if you're not in the masjid, you're not a Muslim. And, mind state starts to, fade away, or can't fathom the infinite, like I said before, which is the bloodlines, the nation, the nationality, or the nation is why the institution exists.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying? Services are services, so people might not want those services.
Right.
Period. You know what I mean? Doesn't make them any less or more. And I give, much respect to Noble Drew Ali, but I think that with this era of, if you're not in the Moor Science Temple of America, you're not a Moor, I would highly suggest, that people look into history books. Read books like, the history of the Moorish Empire in Europe, volume 1, 3. Skim through those pages. You know what I mean? Pictorial history of America. Look at that. You know what I mean? And they'll let you know. Those who, like, if you thought you was Negro, black, and colored, you know what I mean? Then books like these will give you a clear understanding that, you're not Negro, black, and colored. We the original people here. This was the slave brains. And it's kind of funny, too, because when we were in the museum out D.C. on the audio track, it was playing in the background, and it said, Africans became black in colonial North America. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Not that we didn't know that, but the fact that this history is out there, you feel me? It's the conversation in national museums.
Right.
It's like, no, we don't knock the person teaching on the corner or, whatever, but, what Moors are saying is a conversation in national museums. You feel me?
Right.
Opposed to, the hatred of some of our own. I had somebody tell me, like, yeah, I heard of Moors, but I think we're going to always be black. Like, in a way where, I'm black and proud type of thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. See what this is, you know what I mean?
Right.
So sometimes you gotta, I don't know, like, I guess the prophet said it the best. If you can't convince them that they're Negro, black, and colored, I mean, that's just such an elementary conversation, then what else you gonna talk about? How we gonna nation build?
Right.
Right. Because you can't do it in a slave status, but it is what it is. And some of them don't even realize that it's a subjection brain. So, with them being in that mind state. And then again, it's like, even when the European still does try to, slander that brand on you. So I'm like, the truth is the truth, man. It shall be what it is,
Right.
It's out there. And like I said, this is where we the people have the responsibility to speak up and step up. Everybody's stepping up. You got all types of movements that's going on. Certain atrocities and things of that nature that have been suffered with going back to celebrities and things like that. So-called celebrities, they've been being abused for 20 years and shit like that. You feel me?
Right.
And they're bringing their issues to the surface. So this is the time of where, we just got to speak and present facts and truth. You know what I'm saying? And I know that everybody accused isn't quote-unquote guilty or anything. I'm just saying this is that era of, everybody amping up their agenda. You know what I'm saying? So I just say, Moors, we got to do the same thing.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And, pardon the interjection on that. And I definitely feel you, especially when it comes to, us being Moors, and a lot of people, they have this type of three monkey agenda when it comes to learning about nationality and birthrights. See no, hear no, speak no. And it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous, but it is. Like you say, it is what it is. I mean, even the prophets say only a handful is gonna be saved, and it's still gonna have much more to count on the other finger. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I got my nationality, brother, and I just say, you need to get yours. So all day I rep Drew Ali. So, and it takes us to the next question, and it baffles me. It baffles me because I am on the internet, and a lot of brothers, and sisters, not well, a lot of brothers. I'm not going to say a lot of sisters, but a lot of brothers, you know, try to battle me about this. Moorish American is not a nationality. What say you, brother?
I hear that. You know, like I said this before. You know, this is my thing. I'm a Moor.
Right.
Period.
Right.
American. Period. Like, that's what I'm rocking with. You know what I'm saying? It's no disrespect, but at the same time, if I'm speaking to the family and they telling me like we're Moorish American, I'm like, I'm with that. You feel me? I still say we're the same people.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, if I said I'm a Moor, or if I say I'm a Moor, or if I'm American, you know, did I not just say the same thing a different way? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So it's all the same, you know, in that regard. It's the same thing. So, I mean, you know, I understand Prophet Noble Jali left the questionnaire, you know, and he said, you know, why are we Moorish Americans? Because we're descendants of Moroccans born in America. But some of these people that you're talking about, you know, or whoever, you know, they'll say things and they're so divisive with the family that they'll be like, well, you know, the treaty only applied to Moroccans. It didn't apply to Moors. Like, frivolous shit like that.
Right.
Excuse my...
Right. No, brother. Just please speak freely. This is the platform for the people, so please speak freely.
Yeah. So I'm saying when you see the clear divisiveness like that, you know what I'm saying? You already know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so frivolous argument, because you're making a distinguish between Moorish Americans and Moroccans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And Noble Ali is telling you in question 14 that you are Moorish American because you're descendants of Moroccans. So if that be the case, then how can you, as a lineal descendant of Moroccans, you know what I'm saying, denounce the city?
Right.
Feel me?
Exactly.
It's like, yeah, those types of people are just divisive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the argument is frivolous. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, whatever resonates with you. So, you know, if I say I'm American, I don't mean that, you know, we don't mean that we're pilgrims, you know, like, no. We're talking about lineal descendants of Moors or the copper complexion natives. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bound on the continent by Europeans. That's the original application of the word. So, you know, I could say that and be accurate. You know, I could say, you know, I'm a Moor and be accurate. I could say Moorish American. I could say, well, you know what? I'm a Moabite. What's up? You feel me? So,
right.
Like the frivolous argument of, you know, you're not a Moor. We're not Moors. We're Moorish Americans. Like, come on, bro. Stop playing games. You feel me? Like,
right. And I just, pardon me. I mean, I just, like I say, I just bang their head with just American. You know what I'm saying? I don't even take it to the, you know, Moors, which I can, but I just take it back. Look at your dictionary before 1930, and before they took the definition of true American out. And what is that?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So when you have the reference points, 'cause a lot of these people, Supreme, they're not studying, bro. It's like their whole thing is you know, they got the King James version of the Bible, and somebody might have another version of the Bible, and you know, it's disputing about frivolous things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what so that's I don't know, bro. I just see that whole thing is divisive, you know.
Right.
But you're absolutely correct. You could just bang him with American, rebut that. You feel me?
Right.
Know what I'm saying?
and they won't come back. Like I haven't heard a couple people haven't gotten back with me since I even put it up there on a comment. You know, any of the copper tone natives found here by the Europeans, colonists, but now but now applies to the descendants of Europeans.
Right. Yeah, I don't even like that definition of. You know what I'm saying? I like the one in the 1936 because it just says, it says, an Aboriginal or any one of the various copper-colored natives found on the American continent by Europeans. The original application of the name. It doesn't mention you in any other.
I like that one. I like that. I like that one too, Moor.
Yeah. So I mean, but that's just me. It's not that it's not accurate. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I don't even like to associate them with that word. You know.
I mean, to me, what that is just it proves one thing. It proves, the definition I say, it proves identity theft.
Yes, true. There's a lot of ways to look into that. You're right.
And that's the thinking. You know what I'm saying? The prophets say, if I can get my people to just think, they can save themselves. And me thinking, yeah, that proves identity theft to me.
Absolutely. And they do that everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They do that everywhere they go. They even try to act like the quote unquote Egyptians, quote unquote, were pilgrims or pale skinned nations of Europe. So that's the game they play, identity theft. That's how they do. Mm-hmm. That's what they come up was,
Right.
Yeah.
So, that'll take us into another question, and it has to do with the prophet. A lot of people say that the prophet didn't go down to Cuba. A lot of people say that, if he was given this mandate, where is it? Now, what say you about the Havana, Cuba situation and the prophet and the mandate?
Yeah. Well, my thing is this, whether he went or not, you know what I mean? He didn't have to go to get a mandate to claim, the continental North, South, Central Americans. Like, he didn't have to go for that. That was already established fact.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, them trying to make that point of, yeah, prophet got some whatever from Cuba. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not a knock on him going to Cuba or anything, but it shows you the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when Castro was alive, Fidel Castro was alive, like, he helped a lot of people, a lot of Moors all over. You know what I'm saying? But that's still home. You know what I mean? Cuba is still a part of America, so them acting like he went to a foreign jurisdiction and got some special whatever, like, come on, fam, he just went to another part of the ancestral estate. Mm-hmm. You feel me?
Right.
And I'm saying that because somebody posted that comment on my page. I didn't get around to it because another brother responded back. You know what I'm saying? But that was basically the conversation was like, yeah, we got our authority from 1099 or something. And I'm like, he says that's where they got their authority. But I'm like, even within that, it's not saying that they got the authority from there. It's saying the Moorish Holy Temple of Science derives its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad. Mm-hmm. So, you feel me? Even within that letter, you know what I'm saying? That's not really where the authority came from. You feel me? So, that's what I'm saying. Back to the First Amendment, what Noble Drew Ali was about as, an Asiatic or Aboriginal or Muslim, you know what I'm saying? He's telling you that the authority is derived from the great Quran of Muhammad. So I'm looking at it like, then that's a law book. Mm-hmm. And when it's very clear that it is. I can't say, all the laws are, flowery and mellow, but, you know what I'm saying? Some of the morality conduct in there, because they talk about Moors, sold in he went to the United Nations, because at that time there wasn't even the United Nations. It was still the League of Nations.
The League of Nations. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So my whole thing is like, whatever. I don't mean to be dismissive of it, but still in all, I just don't see how Moors linking up with allies, right? Other Moors, all this now. One specific person has a specific order or mandate, like it wasn't lineal ab initio, like going to Cuba, right? So going to Cuba and getting a mandate, I don't know, man. I just don't know how that would actually be the thing that be like to put over the top, like, oh yeah, now this is yours. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see that.
Right. Right.
Not
right.
what supporting allies and things like that. I'm just saying it was that before he went there. So
Right. Right. And I agree. And that like I did a show on just the United States being just a company, and a lot of people think that it's the land, and it's really just a company, because it'll take me back to the articles of it's not on my mind right now, but I did a show some time back. I think it's the Articles of Incorporation, I think it is, where the last time. Say again. Say again.
Articles of Association.
Yes. Can you go into a little bit of that for me, bro?
Yeah. Well, it's like you gotta really look at the history in the 1600s. It's interesting, going back to what I was telling you about traveling, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing spots. Like, I've been on certain plantations and things like that, bro. And it's all corporate, you know what I'm saying? Because it started off as like business, you know what I mean?
Right.
You had presidents that was born on plantations previous to the Declaration of Independence, right? So, like, if you really think about it, they was born slaves, bro.
Right.
Because, like, if it's before the Declaration of Independence, that means that they're still dependent.
Mm-hmm.
So, if they was born in the plantation in the 1750s and 60s, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That means not born free. So their whole thing was, it was about the resources of the land. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And what it was. So, of course, let me pull something up real quick. Yeah, but of course, it was like they had to associate via company, because they never really owned the land. The plantation was about business, like much like it is today.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like now it's modernized. Like, you can have a whole plantation, you know what I'm saying, and within the city, modernized. Like, instead of picking and making the cotton now, they sell it to you in the store. But where did it come from? You know what I mean? It came from the land. These are natural resources of the land.
Right.
So, yeah, so to keep business going, you know what I mean? It was like they had to cross over into that, because they left the other companies allegiance. They disassociated their allegiance with other companies, or now they call them countries and things like that.
Right.
So, yeah, but it's interesting, because at that time, it was a lot of Moors active in politics, and all around the same time, this is the same year, where Noble Drew Ali said, Moors lost their nationality due to the fact that, they honor not the principles of their foremothers and forefathers. Mind you, he said that the Moors got nationality in 1774. The same, the Articles of Association. So you can correlate that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, so all of that being what it is what it is, bro. You know?
Right, and that takes us back to it was a movie, A Birth of a Nation, where it shows a lot of our brothers and sisters was in, like you say, in politics, actually in seats of government.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
It was a lot down south, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a lot of history down south, bro. You know what I mean? It really is. And you can put it all together. You know, this is them. You know, correlating into the corporation. You know, and because remind you, 1774 is before the Constitution was ratified.
Right.
So as you come up in time, you'll see that to form a more perfect union, the Constitution was, established in concrete into law. You know, it is the supreme law of the land, but like it says in Article 6, all treaties, engagements entered into before the adoption, mind you, they adopted the Constitution.
Right.
Shall be the supreme law of the land, so you can invoke, different aspects of law with that. That's just like when they say the treaty is not valid, yeah, it is. You can invoke it via the Constitution. Like, now, as far as them actually honoring it, that's a different story, you know what I mean? And I don't mean they won't in some cases, but in some they don't, and it is what it is. I mean, but it doesn't change the validity of the law. You know what I mean? That it is law, in fact.
Right.
Yeah.
And that takes me back to saying that would this be accurate? Treaties supersede constitutions.
Yeah, because it's self-executing constitutional provisions,
Mm-hmm.
They're constitutional provisions. So you got to be on that, that's definitely a key thing to know. You can look that definition up in your Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, self-executing constitutional provisions. That's definitely serious, because via that aspect of law, you can invoke the treaty. I mean, it's already laid out,
Right.
Yeah.
So were you still pulling something up you wanted to read, or you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah. My fault. No, I was going to say, anybody could read the Articles of Association on Harvey Bay Publications. You know what I mean? .com on the Forgotten Scrolls page. There's a reason why it's called Forgotten Scrolls.
Right.
Yeah.
Good deal. So let's go.
Yeah, but interesting to me is number 3. It says, as a non-consumption agreement, we will neither import nor purchase any slave imported after the first day of December next, after which time we will wholly discontinue the slave trade, and will neither be concerned in it ourselves, nor will we hire our vessels, nor sell our commodities or manufacturers to those who are concerned in it, right? So it says, as a non-consumption agreement, strictly adhered to, will be an effectual security for the observation of the non-importation. We as above solemnly agree and associate that from this day we will not purchase or use any tea imported on account of the East India Company, or any on which a duty bath in or shall be paid, and I think that's a typo, but cool, not purchase or use any East India tea wherever, nor will we know. See, and this is the thing, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is all, like I said, man, it all goes back to the natural resources of the land. Like I was saying, being born on plantations and things like that, the dudes growing, you know what I'm saying? And everybody wasn't necessarily a slave, you feel me, or a Slavic.
Right.
You know, it's a lot that goes with it. You know, like I said, people can study that on RV Bay Publications, but the fact that these are things that were going into the agreement that the East India Company, West India Company, like disassociating from, you know, doing business with them, because basically this was them becoming their own company, you know what I'm saying? So it's, they like, nah, basically like a takeover, like, nah, we cutting the middleman out, we're going to take the tea and make the tea and sell it ourselves. You know, it's all corporate activity, bro.
Right.
Even down so-called slave trade and buying people and things like that. It's for them. I mean, it's a foul feeling for the victim of that, but for them, it's still business. Like I said before, bro. Like their whole thing is selling flesh and you know, fruits of the earth. Like these are the most valuable things are natural things. So in business for that, of course, but like that wouldn't exclude you. Like they're looking at, like I said, I pointed this out before, on the James River. It's you know, it's a lot of history there with the quote unquote trafficking of slaves and things like that. And it was no coincidence that the dude Jimmy Dean, who owned the sausage company over that, had a house on the James River. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they was in the business of selling flesh. You feel me? So it was like, that's his way of saying, hey, you know, I'm successful. I sold so much flesh, including pigs and everything else, and all of this, human beings. You know what I'm saying? That's how they speak. You feel me? They have houses on the James River as a reminder to themselves of what their big business was like for them. You feel me? And, you know, the dude passed away, but nonetheless, it goes back a very long time. So if they're looking at the human being and the chicken, you know what I'm saying, and the pig and the cow as, you know, a source of income, you know, that's business for them.
Right.
And they're going on today. They selling people in and out of jail, you know, bail bonds, all of that. It's human trafficking, bro. For
human
price,
trafficking,
you know?
That's right. Human trafficking, more.
Yeah. And the thing is, back then, it's crazy, right? Because we know it's birthrights. But back then, it was situations where, like, you could, quote-unquote, literally buy your freedom. Like, if you was enslaved, you know what I'm saying? You could come with a certain amount of whatever was being exchanged and buy your freedom. Allegedly. I know that sounds crazy. We know that that's, you know, it's sick and twisted, and we can say, you know, well, you can't buy your freedom. You know, I'm just saying that from them, like they would have documentation, hey, look, such and such paid such and such for his freedom. You know what I mean? Like, that was going on, bro.
Wow.
Moor, etc. So it's like, back then, you know, you came with 20,000, 10,000, whatever. They're like, okay, you're a free man. Now, you know what I'm saying? They want 25,000 on an excessive bail and still want to spin you through the servitude system. You feel me?
Right.
So they trying to take the 25 stacks and still spin you through the aspects of slavery.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, I think it's kind of like worse today, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because these are greedy people, you know what I mean? Like, it's just never enough. Like, so, I don't know. When I look at the contrast of, you know, I know it was a lot more things that was a lot more raw back then, but shit, it's still raw today, bro. Like, it's people who are sitting in quote-unquote jails right now with no court date, you feel me? Bail super excessive, you feel me?
Right.
And they're just in there. They're not even sentenced, just in there. So I'm like, you know, it's going on right now, bro. Like, real talk. when you look at that. Because there were people who like, let's say you came from the South and you went up north and you got with some abolitionists, like let's say you might have went up north and met some European abolitionists or even Moorish abolitionists or whatnot. If you came from down south and they was feeling you, like they would literally buy your freedom. They'd be like, oh, nah, you're not going back. If they come get you, we paying for your freedom. You know what I'm saying? That's how they was on it. And not that you could buy it, like literally today, I'm just saying, it was a business, bro.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
It is. So when we say corporation, like these companies are corporations, they're not states. That's true. That's so true, but remind you who they got as, the potential, marketing, like who, the product that they're trying to sell. And then it's not even a product that they're trying to sell. They're trying to sell abstract services. So it's like, it's just crazy, bro. It's crazy. Every basic thing they want you to like contract and pay for it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, bro, it's just a business. And their whole thing is flesh is on the market. Look at this. Like even with like marijuana, because even in here they was talking about, not getting tea from East India Company, West India Company. Mind you, these are documented companies, not you feel me? It's a business. So when you see we say U dot S dot A dot is a corporation or United States of America, it's true, but they basically just cut out the middleman. Basically, it's what it feels like. Hey, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so with them having to openly denounce certain herbs and teas and all of that, you see the ramifications. Like even with marijuana, like at the beginning of the 2018, in the beginning of 2018, California, quote unquote, legalized marijuana, right, for recreational purposes. So everybody started getting their hands in that particular business. You know what I mean? Opening up franchises. Well, that was the goal. So what did the Pilgrim Pence do? The next day, as soon as he saw that was the case, we're going to roll back on the marijuana laws. Now, don't get me wrong. We know it's not unlawful. But in the monopoly legalized sense, this is what they do. Mm-hmm. They make things lawful, they try to, label it contraband so that, they can make big bucks off of it or whatnot. Bring back.
Right now. Pardon me, bro. We're gonna have to take a quick break right here, but we're gonna come right back more with my brother Mitch. But we gotta take a quick break right fast. Pardon me, because this is really interesting. So I want to continue on the other half, but give me a few seconds, and we'll be right back. Okay, family?
No problem. All
right. Hey, now welcome back. We still have on the phone my good brother Mizraim Aleph, and on the first side we were talking about the commodities and corporations. Can you please continue, brother?
Yeah, absolutely. So absolutely, bro. So on that note, that's basically the point, is that they saw the human beings as the product to sell. The whole thing. So I recall that's what the whole January 1 thing was about. It really marked the day that they said they was going to stop the quote unquote importation of slaves. You feel me? So it was like they wasn't saying we're going to quote unquote stop slavery. We're just going to stop importing them. Basically, like put the embargo on Cuba and things like that, and stop doing business with them. Is basically like kind of sort of the same thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that brings me to another question I wanted to throw out there, because you said something about them doing business with tea, and how does that coincide with like the Boston Tea Party thing, where they dressed up as Indians or Indians, as my good brother Todd would say. They dressed them as Indians and took over a ship and was dumping the tea out. Do you know anything or have any relevance to that?
Yeah, I still gotta look into that a little bit more. But the question is, then who was on the boat then? Why would they disguise themselves as Moors? But again, it's an aspect of what they do right now, man. Like when you look at Title 18, Section 241, 242, etc., and it talks about going in disguise. You know what I mean? On the highways, if two policy enforcers dress up, two or more of anybody really goes in disguise. This they've been doing for a while, like kind of like the Trojan horse theory. So, like even if they got off with it, they could say, "Oh, it was the Moors. It wasn't us." You know what I'm saying? But they've been. I mean, think about it. They mocked Moors for so long. Like, it's true. They have a festival, the Swarte Peak, meaning quote unquote Black Peak, or the Blackamoor Peak and thing where they all dress up, paint their face with Moor mud and things like that. So I mean that's one of their tactics, man, is disguise and doing things in the name of other people or in the image of other people. Just like they say they had a Mexican-American war, when that really wasn't the case. It was Mexican or Mexim and Europeans, pilgrims. You feel me? So it's like, that's nothing new with them, And of course, it's all about the products of the land, because that was the commerce. Remember, they had things in history like, the spice trade, the Silk Road, all of these things, And the valuable thing was the things that came from the earth. Right? So that's basically what it is. And it's funny because, I had this conversation with my aunt before, and she was like, I don't believe it was tea. She like, I still to this day think it was marijuana.
I would think more, pardon the interjection, more. I was just thinking that, more. I was just thinking that.
Yeah. So I'm like, I could kind of dig that. I mean, it's a valuable thing, but then, you got some teas that are potent like that.
That's right.
Like, you could, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be a tea that gets you, a little elevated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
About the herbalists and doctors and things like that, because a lot of times people get it misconstrued, like marijuana is the only, herb that, can affect you. I mean, they got, and I'm not suggesting anybody do these things. I'm just saying there's multiple herbs. They got, the psilocybin. You got different things that'll get you shit. If you leave Brother Supreme, if you leave grapes to ferment for a while, you know what I mean? Like, that could get you lifted.
That's
you know
true.
What I mean?
That's true. That is true, bro.
So it's like, I couldn't put it past some, high-powered tea being the case, you feel me? Or something like that.
Right.
And, and them trying to cut off, business with them, with that, or whatever.
Right. And that takes us back, pardon the interjection, that takes us back to even now, what they're trying to do now. Cut out the middleman and be just the man with the marijuana. And I can see how Auntie could be right, because there's a lot. I know some of my family members. They use joy juice. They boil the marijuana leaves, the fan leaves that come off of it, not the bud itself, but they take the fan leaves and the stems, because they say the THC. And I'm not trying to teach no one how to do something like that right now, but I'm just saying, we're giving out information. This is where we get information. But a lot of some of my family members, they take the tea.
It's lawful now, you know what I'm saying? Just to keep.
There you go. But anyway, they just go ahead.
No, I don't want to cut your wisdom, but I'm just saying it never has been unlawful. I know this is more of an adult conversation, but you know what I'm saying. Even where you at, they recognized it, quote unquote, for recreational purposes. So in the 21st century, you know what I'm saying. This is not a far out or a conversation that you got to have in the corner of a party. Like, this is a real conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I mean, because all honesty, here in what's being called the District of Columbia, which we know is to be Anacostan territory, take you back to the Anacostans, the indigenous Moors, you're allowed to have up to 6 marijuana plants for recreation to grow in your home.
Yeah.
And, you know, that just takes us back. Like I say, I have family members, not on this side, but on the other side, that actually take the leaves and they boil the leaves and use it as tea. Put honey in it and everything, so they do use it as a tea. So, like I say, that could be Auntie could be right. You know, when they had the Boston Tea Party, it could have been the Boston Weed Party. No, but you know, that's how we do it. All we got to get some laughs, but you know, that's gonna run me into my my next question. You know, and it's not so much off topic, but it's still within the confines of the whole situation. Now, the debt. You know, this is the so-called debt, the national debt, or however they want to say something about a debt, and they try to make it put the debt on us and says our debt. Can you tell me before the European colonists or before the colonists came here, did we have debt as a people, and what is that debt now?
Wow, that's a loaded question because we could talk about that on multiple levels. I was told we're going through what we're going through because we had a karmic debt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's metaphysical. You know what I mean? Not
That's
necessarily some greenbacks that the Europeans printed up. Like, you know, and don't get me wrong, we know it was a Moor who designed the back of the Federal Reserve note, the one note. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, man, like that's question. I don't see us having had debt like how they do because we were living abundantly. Like, oh, who for what? You know what I'm saying? Like there was trade going on, but I don't know how we would have been in debt to anybody when there was nobody in the way. You know what I mean? Like you wanted to you know, eat or anything of that nature. Everything was grown right off the land. You know what I mean? For what? You know, they were more scientific back then with electricity, the windmills, and all of this stuff. Like, oh, who, what? I don't get it. Like, so when they talk about a debt, that's their debt because they borrow money. I don't know no more is closing down the nation because, you know, they owe China some odd billions or trillions or whatever.
Right.
The U.A. Corporation is affected by that, but you know we didn't miss a beat when the Great Depression happened. That was them getting depressed.
Right.
You know what I'm? And that wasn't us because that was their economic inflation. Like they were going through that. Mind you, we're not the owners of the USA Corporation. We're the true possessors of the land that they operate on.
Right.
So whatever debt that corporation created, you know, backed on bonds and junk bonds and all of that, and, you know, bail bonds, all these types of bonds, whatever, you know what I'm saying? These are things that was changing hands amongst Europeans, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they basically played themselves broke out of position because, you know, it was built on something not solid anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as far as that debt thing, like that, me personally, I don't see how that has anything to do with Moors. You know what I'm saying? Moors might, I'm not being funny, but it might be some of us behind on bills. That's about it. But owing China and owing, you know what I'm saying, different nations all over the earth. Shit, how about they still in debt to us?
Right.
You feel me? For the damage. You know what I'm saying? There's some of our people out here, you know, operating with mental damage You know what I'm saying? Some bank that's stationed in Europe or Germany somewhere, you know what I'm saying, made a claim to a house on American land. You feel me? And then that family couldn't stay, and their hard earned or what they worked hard for. You feel me? They some European corporation, right, made a claim to another European corporation to collude and get people out of their homes, bro. So it's like, you know, I don't know, man. As far as that whole debt thing goes, this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is scam. They owe us, the people, a lot, if anything.
Exactly.
Just like they say China and they borrow trillions from China. Like, you know, we need to send a bill in equity to these people. Like, yo, hold on, no. You've been using Moor's ancestral estate and resources for the longest time. You owe us too. How about that debt bill? That one is, if their debt to us was recognized at this particular point in time, like, it would break the bank of their corporation. They owe us just about, and I Brother Supreme, I don't like feeling like the world owes us everything, because it's like, you know, no matter what, we still gotta get it. You feel me? But It's like, oh no, real though. Like, if it was to tally up all the damage, like, even just in the past, let's say, couple of years, the types of slander, the types of, you know, misrepresentation that they put out on our people, you know, that's highly damaging. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big bill to pay. You know?
Right.
So, yeah, man, I see it as that. If anything, you know, they could send, if they paying China trillions of notes, you know what I'm saying? But they're not breaking off the people that, you know, they put through damage, like serious damage, mentally, physically, still causing injury. I don't know, it's just an interesting way of looking at it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what do you say about them? You know, selling parts of our land to them.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the land can't be bought or sold. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's alienable. It's to be passed down for generations. But again, going back to 1774, the year when the Moors were stripped, according to Noble Dry Lee, this is the year Moors were stripped of their nationality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you calculate the fact that, okay, they did the whammy, you know what I'm saying, and started not even counting you as a natural person, like, you know, you're to them, you're still a corporation. Like, everything they do is corporate. Everything is business for them. So, you know, these people are buying houses or whatnot, but still in all, they getting shamed. Like that cop in Arizona who got her house, she was a European. You know what I'm saying? The bank basically muscled her out of her house, and she was a cop, bro. Like, she was a cop, and I forgot the lady's name that they was just Bobo signing her name on different documents, saying it was from the bank, a certain bank agency, but they scammed like a lot of people out of their house back in like 2008, 9. You know, when the crash happened.
Right.
You know, all these, which goes to show again, they don't own them. So it's like, you know, if it's happening to them, you know what I'm saying? They're doing it to their own people. Like, this was a cop who worked, you know, she did what she did, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? And through her income, she bought a house. And then she asked for a modification on her mortgage or whatnot. Now, we know that a mortgage is a dead pledge.
Right.
But she asked for a modification to her mortgage. They told her, don't pay for like 2 or 3 months. Don't pay the mortgage for like 2 or 3 months. Then she stopped. You feel me? Because she like, okay, we're going to get it modified. 3 months later, you know what I'm saying, they sending her letters in the mail, and you know, the bank is trying to take her home. You feel me? And she never missed a mortgage payment. She never missed a mortgage payment. This was a scam on a high level of bankers. You feel me? Not the people who have the she was a cop, bro.
Wow.
So even with them having that, aspect of they could buy a home on American land, even some of them are finding out the illusion. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what, what? And again, it's crazy because some of the land is still possessed, like literally by the spirits of the ancestors. It's certain Europeans who've had the experience where their electricity bill is through the roof every month, and they can't figure out why. But then they come to find out that it was an Aboriginal who died on the land. You feel me? And was still possessing the land or the house through the electricity wires underground. You feel me? Like that's came to that conclusion. And I'm like, so when you steal a legacy, right? Or if you try to disinherit a people, it's a lot of backlash karmically that goes with that. Like you were saying, what about the debt? I was taught that the debts that we had were karmic more so than, pecuniary or financial.
Right.
And so I could just imagine what their debt is. And European came out and said it already. He said it before. He was like, look, man, the reason why the Europeans act the way they do is because they're scared. They really fear us taking retaliation. And a lot of us ain't even vengeful like that. You feel me?
Right.
But they're afraid of that. You know what I mean? Which is why they make up these false narratives about Moors and try to paint Moors in a certain light. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they're quote-unquote black identity extremists, and, we're scared some of them might start shooting. Come on, man. It's just a game. I mean, it's not a game, but it's them trying to set up a false profile, a false narrative. So that's why I'm like, yo, this is crazy. That's how I see it, bro. I just, that's them. The whole debt thing is all them, and that's who they are. Corporations, businesses.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And that would take us to one of the last questions. I'm gonna have one more after this one. Very good, because that leads us into before the Europeans came, or before they came here as colonists. Was there businesses before? Were we doing business before they came here? Because the prophet speaks about manufacturing.
Yeah, look at the industrious acts of the Muslims in the beginning of the Circle 7.
Mm-hmm.
You feel? He's speaking about the industrious acts of the Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course we did. But now this is the thing. How did we do it? Because, wasn't nobody thinking about a Federal Reserve note with, what I'm saying, George Washington face on it in the 1400s. Or we could even go BC timeline. We was here, BC timeline. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the modes of exchange or the currency had nothing to do with George Washington. He wasn't even thought of. So how were they doing it? They had, temples with all types of jewels decked in the wall and all of these things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the currency was a lot more natural. It would be more worth than you having a garden or something like that to exchange, because, and mind you too, the plantation and all of that abundance, it didn't start with the Europeans. The land was already here. Mm-hmm. So you see the cotton fields, like, don't think slavery, think resource.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's resources, man. So I don't know if you watched the documentary when we were at the museum in D.C. and I showed the cotton field, on the Shirley Plantation. And the thing is, I gotta do something with that too, because the way they acquired a lot of the land, was through this aspect of marriage. And they tell you that on the at the entranceway of the Shirley Plantation, like where the big house is,
mm-hmm.
it's you know, the wife acquired this through marriage, right? And I'm like, well, hold up, though. You know what I'm saying? Because we was here before there was a damn marriage license.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, who did she marry? You know what I'm saying? And what was his nationality or her nationality? What's going on? You know what I mean? How did they get this from Moors? How did they get this from the Aboriginal Moors? Because, you know, they flipped the narrative like, oh, the only reason Moors was working the land is because these were imported slaves from Africa. Like, no, there were Moors already here who already knew about cosmology, astrology, and how to use that to manifest resources on the earth, tangible.
Right.
So, like, we have to plant seeds at the right times, you know, to get this abundance going. You know, I personally don't think slaves had that science down. The people who didn't have that science will have to look to those who did to do it.
Right. That's right.
So what I'm saying is, you know, the land is not our enemy. You know what I mean? American land, and I'm literally talking about the land that produces resources. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the enemy. It's the corporations that operate on them who look to you to be a product in their supermarket. You know what I mean? Which is selling flesh, all of these things. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So clothes, like, you know, they said it was tobacco or whatever. You know, there used to be tobacco farms, still is, but like they would have manual labor on tobacco farms, cotton fields, you know, groceries and things like that. Now it's just all modernized. You could be in one shopping mall and get everything you could have got off the plantation packaged already. You know what I'm saying? So now you can get your clothes, your socks, underwear, t-shirts, which is the cotton, right from out the store. You can get your cigarettes and blunts, right out the store. You know what I'm saying? Which all of this came from the land that, you know, everybody's saying that we hate, and you know what I'm saying? You know, all of these things, right? You could get your cotton, tobacco. You know what I'm saying? You know, food. You know, people eat pig. All of that in these restaurants. It's all modern, institutionalized. You know what I'm saying? Plantation aspect. That's basically what it is, and it's not knocking quote unquote civilization, but mind you, it's all about the business for them.
Right.
So that's why they be on it like that.
Wow. That's very good, and pardon me, that was very enlightening, bro. And like I say, it's a sad reality, but it's a true reality, you know. And we got about 3 or 4 minutes, and I just want to say I thank you, brother, for coming up on the platform, because this platform is for the people, and I know each time you come up here is we get enlightened more, and the light is shining through you more, and I appreciate you, my brother.
That's peace, Noble. Likewise, I appreciate it too. Again, you know, we'll make it happen again soon. For now, I'm gonna finish working on a couple of projects. We didn't really touch on those like that, but we're gonna talk about it afterwards, after you get to view it and everything. And you know what I'm saying? Look, we'll make it happen. I'll be back on, Moor. I appreciate you having me on.
Indeed, it's nothing. It's always blissful, Moor. Now, definitely we're gonna do another one, and another one, and another one. You already know it, Moor. Do you have anything you want to shout out? Anybody want to shout out? Anything you want to say before we close out?
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Big acknowledgement to your platform partner, Interjection. MHHS Eyes Wide Open Blog Talk Radio every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You could Google that. Big acknowledgement to all the Moors. You know what I mean? Canaan Land Moors, RV Bay Publications, all active Moors worldwide. You know, big acknowledgement to all the Moors in the Western Hemisphere. acknowledgement and honors there. And yeah, more. We have a lot more to talk about next time.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I want to, first, while you're here, I want to give a great, huge honors to the mothers, because I know that they have came back more. They have come back more. The ancestors have come back and has given us a lot of information. And I want to give shout outs and high honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali and you, Mitch. Yep. You just, brother, I get enlightened every time you get on the show and come on. I be enlightened more. So I want to give honors and thanks to you, and I want to give honors and thanks to my big brother Cujo and the Canaan Land Moors and active Moors. So even non-active Moors. So if you're not active, you better get active more. And we will do this again more. That's all I can say. We're going to do it again and again more. And I want to give you thanks for coming up on.
Absolutely, more, no doubt. All right, Nobles, peace and love, y'all.
All right, peace and love, more.
One.
All right. And again, like I say, that was my good brother Mizraim, and it's that brother has a lot of information. He's a studious more. He studies more, and the brother gives out a lot of information, family, and it's just a beautiful thing every time you come on. I cannot, stress it enough that the brother is really informative, and I want to give him thanks again. My brother, Mizraim Aleph, and check out his books. He has some good books. So, go on RV Bay Publication, and that's our university. We study there, So when I first came on, it took me 2.5 years, and I stayed there. Actually, I stayed there 3 years, and I still go there. So I wanted to say thank you, family. And like I say, don't believe me. Go check it out. You'd be amazed at the jewels you'll find on your treasure hunt, family. There's gold in them there hills. Just go find it and you'll be amazed. Alright, until next time, family, y'all stay safe. And I want to always say, Islam, love, and peace forever.
King Moor. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true Ali started dropping it. Dirty Moors still attempt to infiltrate the order. Active Moors are truth and take it to the corners. Across highways, past hedges and through borders. Move on dirty Moors like open dam waters. Watch out for agents and provocateurs trying to get next to the heads with the doctor cures. They never pay dues and don't pay dues, contradicting the King Alfred to give clues like news. Noble Drew Ali died from Palemore blues. Prophet saved him as money before the claw fell through, and that's true. Even though I don't have proof.